So glad to finally be off. Is that a Yang Gang poster?
Sup? Thanks for putting the debate on before you clocked out.
Yang, your signature policy is to give every adult in the United States $1,000 a month, no questions asked.
That's right.
I think that's like $3.2 trillion a year. How would you do that?
Sorry?
How would you do that?
Oh, so it's difficult to do if you have companies like Amazon, trillion-dollar tech companies paying literally zero in taxes while they're closing 30% of our stores. Now, we need to put the American people in position to benefit from all of these innovations in other parts of the economy. And if we had a value-added tax at even half the European level, it would generate over $800 billion in new revenue, which combined with the money in our hands, it would be the trickle-up economy from our people, families, and communities up. We would spend the money and it would circulate through our regional economies and neighborhoods, creating millions of jobs, making our families stronger and healthier. We'd save money on things like incarceration, homelessness services, emergency room health care, and just the value gains from having a stronger, healthier, mentally healthier population would increase GDP by $700 billion.
Andrew Yang, while he seems to have caught a bit of stage fright, really has an interesting core idea in his platform, and I really wish more people running were talking about it, or that someone might co-opt it.
He lost me when he said it would cost $3.2 trillion. And I don't think he really explained himself well on the debate stage either. How's he gonna get $3.2 trillion more in taxes out of us, and what's a value-added tax?
This is the move that we have to make, particularly as technology is now automating away millions of American jobs. It's why Donald Trump is our president today, that we automated away 4 million manufacturing jobs in Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. And we're about to do the same thing to millions of retail jobs, call center jobs, fast food jobs, truck driving jobs, and on and on through the economy.
Sir, if I get you to understand a little bit better, so you're saying $1,000 a month for everyone over 18, but a value-added tax, so you can spend that $1,000 on value-added tax?
Well, to be fair, the debate time limits didn't give him much of an opportunity to explain. His idea of a universal basic income, a concept already working in Alaska, is called the freedom dividend. The name comes from the name of incremental returns on investments, placing America in the investor class, with each of us getting a share of the innovation of our tech sector.
Well, the value-added tax would end up, you'd still be increasing the buying power of the bottom 94% of Americans. You have to spend a lot of money for a mild value-add tax to eat up $12,000 a year per individual. So for the average family with 2 or 3 adults, it'd be $24,000 to $36,000 a year.
Okay.
No, but how's this tax gonna pay for it? The 2019 US budget is only about $3.4 trillion now. How can we double it?
Well, for one, it's made in such a way that we'll never have to pay the full $3.2 trillion. The UBI has a big catch that has turned off a lot of the lefties that would usually support something like this. It's opt-in and doesn't overlap with things like welfare and Social Security. It's either or. So a lot of people will be giving up things like food stamps to get this, which reduces the cost considerably. So it's not like we'd have to raise taxes by over $3 trillion to pay for it.
Well, why doesn't the left like that?
Since it doesn't stack with other benefits, it's not doing that much to help those who might need it the most, because it isn't targeted like other safety net programs. This makes especially little sense for people on Social Security or disability. They may not see an increase at all, and though they wouldn't lose anything, they have to deal with the value-added tax.
So they'd be worse off? Social Security isn't welfare, though. It's just something people paid into and earned.
Absolutely. And if I could change one thing about the proposal, I'd change how it interacts with Social Security, because they're the people least able to adapt to financial challenges and changes in our economy, because they're largely unable to work. But that's actually not even the worst of it. Some people see it as a sort of a Trojan horse, designed to first lower welfare spending, and then later, if they get rid of it, they can try to keep the reduction in welfare spending, and the Democrats will lose a lot of ground in the war on poverty. The thing is, since it's not meant to completely replace these programs, I don't see how getting rid of the UBI in, say, 10 years would only shift the burden back to those programs. As long as this bill isn't intentionally poorly written, it shouldn't function as a Trojan horse.
I guess that makes sense. He said he wanted a VAT tax that was only half the European level. What does that mean?
The European level is 20%. Think of a VAT tax as being an additional sales tax of 10%. As he pointed out, you'd have to be spending well over $100,000 a year to be able to offset $12,000 in free.
So I'm definitely more interested in it now, but I still don't get the math on how we're gonna pay for it.
Well, for one, Yang estimates that about 1.2 trillion is saved by it not being a welfare social security supplement. That brings the price tag down closer to 2 trillion. He estimates that about 400 billion of that will be recovered when the money given as UBI triples up into the economy. He also claims that we'd save as much as 200 billion on incarceration, hospital bills, and services for the homeless. The remaining 1.4 trillion price tag would be covered by the VAT tax, which would also benefit as a result of American households having an extra $1,000 a month to spend. The US economy is around 20 trillion right now, so not all of that would be subject to a VAT tax. But if as much as 14 trillion was, the 10% VAT tax he proposed would easily be able to take care of that last 1.4 trillion. But more importantly, it would robustly empower local economies and businesses and create a trickle-up economy in which everyone is better able to pull themselves up by their bootstraps.
Alright, you know what to do by now. It's YouTube. Leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out the links in the description.